Lamar Jackson has been forced to overcome more grief and suffering than most people can even begin to imagine. Not only that, but he's had to prove countless haters wrong over and over again. This is the story of Lamar's journey from an overlooked three-star recruit to an NFL superstar. Born and raised in a poverty-stricken area of Pompano Beach, Florida, the only part of Lamar's childhood coming easy to him was football. Football was always a part of Lamar's life. At the age of 7, in his first season playing organized football, Jackson was named MVP, which he went on to win for every youth football team he ever played on. Just when it seems like things were finally starting to go Lamar's way and he had found true happiness, Jackson was struck by tragedy. When he was just 8 years old, his father died from a heart attack. Then, to make an already unbelievably sad event somehow worse, Lamar's grandmother passed away on the same day. From that moment forward, Lamar relied on his mother for everything. She put food on his plate and clothes on his back, while also coaching him up on the gridiron. Reflecting on her impact in a Players Tribune article, Lamar said, "A lot of people helped me get better when I was young, but the best coach I've ever had was also my first one, Mom." As a high schooler, Jackson was going viral on social media, putting up big numbers in stat sheets and receiving offers from Power 5 colleges. Jackson played 2 years of varsity football at Boynton Beach High School, starring as a dual-threat quarterback who could beat defenses through the air and on the ground. Lamar's abilities helped him become a social media sensation on a couple of occasions. One of the highlights still makes its rounds on the internet today, where he scrambles around in the pocket, evades multiple defenders, and takes off down the sideline before stopping on a dime and letting a defender fly past him as he casually strolls into the end zone. Plays like this look like they were straight out of a video game, with how easily Lamar toyed with defenses, showing just how special he could be. Despite the impressive stats and millions of YouTube views, ESPN and 24/7 Sports rated Lamar as only a 3-star recruit, and ESPN had him as just the 80th best player in Florida. These recruiting analysts thought he relied too much on his athleticism and that this would catch up to him when he was going against bigger and better competition. A handful of big-time schools saw past these ratings and offered him scholarships, such as Louisville, Florida, Auburn, and Clemson. For a while, it looked like Lamar was going to stay in his home state and head to the University of Florida, but ultimately, he committed to Louisville. As a freshman, Lamar played in 12 games, starting in 8 of them, which is uncommon for a 3-star QB recruit to do at a Power 5 school. Jackson made the most of it, demonstrating that his elite athleticism was far from exaggerated. In the season opener against UNC Charlotte, he set a school record for total touchdowns in a game, with 8, scoring all 8 of them in the first half. It was just the beginning, as Jackson went on an absolute tear the rest of the year. He finished the season with 3,543 passing yards, 30 passing touchdowns, 1,571 rushing yards, and 21 rushing touchdowns. Lamar won the Heisman Trophy, college football's most prestigious award. After a season like that, expectations were sky high for his junior campaign, and with the pressure on, Jackson did not disappoint. He broke the 5,000-yard milestone again, with 3,660 passing and 1,601 rushing yards. Feeling like there was nothing left to prove with his collegiate career, Lamar forewent his final year of eligibility and declared for the 2018 NFL Draft. Jackson fell in the first round of the draft. While this was happening, cameras showed a distraught Lamar with his mom backstage in the green room. Then, after a painfully long wait to hear his name called and watching 4 other quarterbacks get drafted before him, the Ravens finally traded up to take Jackson with the 32nd overall pick, the final pick of the first round. Although he was a first-round pick, Lamar still had to wait for the chance to prove he belonged to the rest of the league. As a rookie in 2018, Jackson didn't get his first career start until Week 11 against the Bengals, when Joe Flacco got hurt in Baltimore's previous game. His haters were ready to say he wasn't ready for the moment, until Lamar went and balled out. He led the Ravens to a win over their division rival while throwing for 150 yards and rushing for 117, a franchise record for a quarterback in a single game. After this, Jackson never looked back, leading his squad to 6 wins in 7 games to end the regular season and clinch a playoff spot. Even though he only started 7 games, Lamar still led the league in quarterback rushing yards with 695. While the Ravens fell in the wildcard game to the Chargers in a tight 23-17 contest, Jackson became the youngest quarterback in NFL history to start a playoff game and had officially put the league on notice. While 2021 was supposed to be Lamar's revenge season, fate had other plans. Through 11 games, Jackson had the Ravens sitting 8-4 atop the AFC. He was also in the MVP conversation, having already passed for more yards than he did in all of 2020, and well on his way to breaking the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the 3rd straight time. But in the first quarter of a Week 14 loss to the Browns, Lamar suffered an ankle injury from being tackled after throwing the ball. As he stayed sitting on the ground after the play, the Ravens knew that their season would come down to the diagnosis. diagnosis. Unfortunately, it was a severe enough injury that it forced him to sit out the rest of the game and the season. Without Lamar, the Ravens lost their final 5 games and missed the playoffs. It was far from the year that Lamar had wanted, but he was so impactful and respected that he managed to make Pro Bowl while missing a major part of the season. There's one thing that has evaded Lamar throughout his career and continues to be go-to material for his haters to use: his lack of postseason success. But if Lamar's story tells you anything, it's that he has a knack for proving the haters wrong, and that's scary for the rest of the NFL.